course, you have a spell that you can farm with. If Timber is pressuring you a lot, you will definitely still get a decent amount. But I am expecting Timber to eventually probably come out on top in this lane. This bottom lane, great play from Skylark, baiting in and then ultimately having the Fairy Fire. It's an item we almost never see used anymore. Skylark is probably the biggest fan of this item in the entire competitive Dota 2 scene. I feel like he buys it significantly more than even the second most purchased from any player. It just seems like when Skylark plays Batrider, he'll gladly play like double Fairy. In this game, he's playing a single one on Beast. Oh, need to be careful down here.
Do you think he just puts a lot of focus on winning that like one little fight, right?
Yes.
As an offlaner, if you can win that one fight, the lane is kind of won for you because you get boots and everything from there. But so the Fairy Fire is giving you that little bit of lopsided offense.
Yeah, he plays a bait basically in a lot of the games. So that's why it's so good on Batrider, because when Batrider starts dropping low and you think you have him, if he just survives that little bit longer with Firefly and Napalm running, you might turn it into a kill. Can completely change the entire pace of the early game if Batrider gets a good start. And in this case with the Beastmaster, pretty sure he would have died there to Burning if not for the Fairy Fire. And as mentioned, if there's an item that kind of falls out of favor and people don't run it, it's not as active in your, you don't have the presence of mind all the time to think about these things, and it's just not something you're paying too much attention to.
Now, you said this lane is going to be a bit easier for SF than it was from the past, and he had a great start thanks to the Bounty Hunter. You could see it in the CS that currently OP is sitting a bit above Thug, but the other two lanes are currently being won by Mouse, so it kind of evens out. You can see Mouse are really trying to use the pulse as much as possible. The Timbersaw pushing himself forward against the Magnus and then operating on that hard camp pull, trying to deny as much experience and gold away from that Magnus, and we saw the same thing from their aggro tri-lane as well.
This is looking surprisingly good for Magnus, though. I don't know if this is expected to happen when Timber especially has the safe lane.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Timbersaws in this position would do something else than what Mado has done in this game. They would go for maybe an Orb of Venom and just run at the Magnus, hit him, keep using your Whirling Death and try to zone him away. But they're taking a bit more of a farming approach. Magnus obviously has the Shrine advantage. He's going to activate that just now and head back up to the lane. But Madara seems to be getting a little bit of an experience lead now. The CS is even, but he has the deny advantage on the Mag, and Mag's actually retreating to the jungle for now.
Maybe just a bit of efficiency since he's already there from the Shrine. Picks up the Bounty Rune as well.
I think this... don't know if this is worth it overall. It looks pretty close, actually. It's fairly even.
Burning. Not going to be caught inside that static field. Did have the spin anyway, so now they're actually going to try and go on to Skylark here. Maybe next time's going to come in, but it looks like Skylark dropping low. That stun comes in for the Train Protector is just enough to give Skylark the space to be able to escape. Maybe next time is quite low, though, and he's trying to hide himself into the trees. He is going to be able to get away from Bobacut just in time. So IG, their defensive tri-lane, is beginning to strike back, but hasn't yet managed to pick up a score, and Maus, they still had that offlane trying to work off of, so this is going to go bad for IG.
I'm surprised to see maybe next time going for this point in living armor. Felt pretty useless there as well. You know, you just get immediately removed by the Juggernaut.
But so is Leech Seed against Jug, right?
On the Jugger, but on every other hero, the Leech Seed gives them kill potential. Maybe the read here from Maus is that IG will not be out of position on any of the other heroes, so the opportunity won't present itself. Just maybe showing some respect to the support players in that sense.
Space. Maybe next time set up a trap. They are going to be able to slow him down. He doesn't have that Leech Seed, though. Now he picks it up. Just picked up his level 3 off the neutrals. Perfect timing. Skylark's here with the slow from the boars, and that'll make it an easy 4 kills in the first 6 minutes of the game.
With their courier here. Treant's bash does work on it. It's obviously a very short duration on level 1, but we're probably going to see them send it down through the tree line. Actually not paying attention to it at all, but Mouse, oh, there we go. But Mouse are not going for it now. So, still, great early laning stage from Mouse Sports. I feel like their lineup to an extent maybe needs it. As far as the team fight potential goes, they do have, obviously, the Overgrowth and the Static Storm, but I would say, you know, as far as AoE lockdown goes, Overgrowth falls off pretty quickly, actually, against heroes like Juggernaut and Shadow Fiend that both want to buy either Manta or BKB.
Right.
So you have to get off to a good laning stage, and so far so good for them.
Forced out the spin. Burning, only able to pick up one of those boars, is now going to be locked inside the static field, but they're going to battle it back, putting some damage onto Skylark to make sure he cannot threaten Burning's life. Now, our Magnus actually not leveling RP at level 6, is so far trying to get himself as much laning phase as possible. For me, I thought because the defensive tri lane of IG was suffering, we might see an early rotation from XXS and try and do something. But do you think Magnus just isn't that kind of hero? It's not a Clockwork or something like that that is able to offset an aggro tri-lane and needs to focus more on farming?
I definitely think it's a possibility. It just seems like IG are pretty comfortable with their safe lane right now. They know Burning isn't getting full free farm, but the read is probably, you know, XXS is having a decent time at the very least. I would like to see, oh, wait a second, bottom lane.
Q kind of caught, but they are going to be able to go on a Skylark. It looks like that should be a kill. Skylark's going to be run down by Burning, and Q is going to be run down inevitably by maybe next time. But picking up the core is way more important and forcing Spartan out of the lane.
Good trade for IG here. Get their first kill on the board. They trade their Crystal Maiden support for the Beastmaster. CM has already had a pretty tough laning stage. She's died 4 times here at minute 7. So her relative value compared to the Beastmaster kill definitely favors IG in that instance. And now that the Shrine is used and IG are starting to find some footing down here, I feel like this aggressive tri-lane for Mouse Sports has done what it was supposed to, maybe slightly more, and can't really... I don't think they can stay down here. Burning will close in on level 6, and I think this aggressive tri-lane will just fall flat at that point. So good read for Mouse here, starting to rotate around. They're moving both the Disruptor, and it seems like Treant might go bottom again, but Disruptor at least crossing over to mid, helping out Thug. But no kill was found in that lane. Yeah,
Thug, bit too low to be able to take advantage of that. XXS building towards his early Blink Dagger. And this is one of the things, right, is even if Burning's farm suffers somewhat, IG have already made the read that they're going to be able to make the comeback in the laning phase a little bit later on, and they're going to have that Empower to work off of, right? And that'll kind of boost the Juggernaut through that 15 to 20 minute window, and he can easily make a comeback in net worth.
Absolutely. It's very classic stuff when you're running this mag. It's what makes the hero so powerful in something like an off-lane role, just because you have, even if the other lanes don't go in the best you would expect, you can still, like you said, you can come back with Empower, you have the team fight ability off the offlaner, and even an offlaner that, should the game go long enough, actually scales really well compared to a lot of other heroes that you would put in that position. So, for example, if you can choose between a 15k net worth Magnus and Beastmaster, you can make cases for both. They have different strengths, but it's definitely not gold wasted on a Magnus. He can even turn into almost a carry. Oh, nice. RP top.
They're going to be able to jump in from OP with that magic damage. They make short work of Madara. 2-5 now in 9 minutes.
Very nice play here from IG. It looked like XXS was already calling. I know I'm going to get this RP to start TPing in. He was already in position when the RP landed. They skewer in and get a quick pick there on Madara.
They know
a very big kill.
They saw the 2 cores kind of preoccupied up at the top lane, thinking maybe they can have a go at bottom, trying to catch the bounty hunter, but Bobica 1 step ahead, and it's looking real good for IG right now. The kill on the Timbersaw now puts the Magnus ahead at 4,200 net worth, seconded by the SF. So despite the 1v1s that Mouse were trying to force, it actually seems like IG had managed to come ahead.
OP on this Shadow Fiend is currently out farming the Templar Assassin. Of course, TA has the advantage of being better at clearing Ancients, so her CS will be worth a little more relatively, but the Shadow Fiend, the kill he found on top on the Timbers actually gives him a full level advantage on Thug at the current point in time, higher CS, and now he even has an Invis rune. He can solo kill this TA. Oh, okay, he's gonna just pop out and push the wave. Probably looks to pressure the tower as TA will want to retreat into the jungle and farm up. And this will give OP the opportunity to do a lot of damage mid. Someone has to defend it.
Yeah, there's the Omni Slash. They're going to be able to get that kill. I thought maybe Bobica would be able to get the kill on the TA. But Thug making sure he's not caught. Nice Static Storm, Static Field combination. They're going to be able to catch him inside of that one. Should be able to blow him up. OP trying to get whatever damage he can. But his Death Requiem will not be enough to bring Thug down.
That is the first reveal of the Static Storm. And probably the highest value kill they could find on the map. This is clearly better than killing the Juggernaut. Not only do you kill the Shadow Fiend, but your mid-hero TA is involved in it. And as a result, Thug is pretty much neck and neck now with OP.
Take a knockdown on his souls as well, and that's going to make it harder for the SF, right? Dealing with that TA.
What we're seeing right now as well is one of the really big advantages of safe lane Timbersaw. Just constant pressure on the tower. You can think a bit of it as a Dragon Knight in the sense that, you know, if you leave the lane, he will just keep pushing and he won't stop until the tower falls. Just because he can tank it himself with reactive armor. Maybe they want to go for a skewer, not going to happen.
Well, Bobica's there to be able to slow him down, so they're going to try. They won't have the skewer backwards, but they'll stop his Timber Chain. Double nuke from OP, finish him off.
That was a really, really well executed kill. I thought he got far enough away with that Timber Chain, but of course, only level 1. Can't travel too far, can't travel too fast. And
Talking about that chip damage you referred to from the Timber Saw, right? How he inevitably takes his tower in 1v1s. That is one thing that IG will not be able to play off of, right? Because big factor in this Treant Protector. Do you think that's one of the many reasons that we're seeing so much tree is that there seemed to be a little bit more focus on split pushing and, you know, kind of chipping away at towers rather than these 5-man pushes.
Did you see that?
No, I missed it. What happened?
Burning just casually ran by a tree and quelled it, and that was the one MNT was next to, so he lost his invis and couldn't match. Like, oh well, unfortunate. Oh yeah, but I agree for sure. Like the living armor is a really big deal. Defending towers has been a big part of Dota for as long as I can remember. It's becoming more and more important, I would say, over the last 2 years. Like, teams are putting way more emphasis on not losing map control. So a hero that can protect the towers is absolutely great. And yeah, I would say overall, with the changes to towers or with how they get armor with heroes nearby, etc. It's a lot harder to knock them down, and split pushing especially is way less effective against this living armor. Most Treants, however, we do
Jash moved in from multiplay, comms server by the server.
Living armor comes quite a bit later. So there is a window right now for IG where they could maybe try to group up their Juggernaut and Shadowfiend in the lane and push a tower. If they can make like one quick rotation and kill a core, that could turn into a tower kill in mid, for example.
And that would be the most important tower bounty they could possibly get, right? It's like IG, they've given up their side lane towers, and that's okay for the time being, but you've got to put some emphasis on defending your mid tower, right?
Yes. You can't really keep giving up map control. As far as IG go, they have some key items that are now available. The Magnus Blink Dagger and the Shadowfiend Shadowblade is coming up in 200 gold. I think that's the spike they're looking for, where they want to make plays. Oh, Madara is in trouble again.
Round 3. They've got the magic damage, but a static storm catches them. Spartan lays the trap. Madara is the bait. They're going to be able to collect 2 off of that one, but it might be too much. With Burning here, he bounced over to Spartan, trying to run down Madara. Will be able to get him with the spin, though. And so that ends up being a 1-for-2 exchange. Well played by Spartan. And Madara kind of leading that whole entire trap up. But IG, they did bring the forces necessary to still kill that ever-present Timbersaw.
At the same time, though, it still ends up being a 2-for-1. Skylark is pushing out the bottom lane. This is one of the strengths of Beastmaster, is his constant pressure. That's why we see them often going for this Vladimir's build-up just to be able to push. Oh, dust from MNT, not going to connect on the bounty. But it's very clear that IG are being pressured really hard in this game. Like they always seem to be on the defending side with their lanes being shoved in. And until they start finding their own openings, I see Mouse just having better control of the map. It's time for the Shadowblade of Shadowfiend to maybe connect with an RP that they still have. They didn't use that for the Timber kill, which is very important.
Right.
This is a key cooldown right now. I, once again, would really like to see some sort of mid-play come out. No smoke has been used, though. And big benefit of Treant and Bounty Hunter, both exceptional at warding. Just look at how much vision Maus have in the Radiant jungle right now because of this Treant, and vice versa. In the Dire jungle, there's 2 good aggressive wards coming out from the Bounty Hunter. So
they might even be able to...
Here comes the push, man.
Yeah. And this is just not going to be defended in time by Maus. So a big objective pickup for IG, being able to bully down that mid tower before the living armor.
This is really hurting their tower. Skylark is taking 2/3 of a tower so far, just standing next to the creepway with his aura, so he's not exposing himself. These 2 boars are dealing really significant damage. He almost took a full tower while they were mid.
Yeah, they are still giving that one up, though, because they actually smoke up as a 3-man and rotate upwards.
It just feels really obvious, this smoke, right?
Yeah.
You have a Beastmaster who almost took a full tower bottom. You know IG just took the tier 1 mid, and you can see Mouse Sports are just avoiding them at every turn. Yeah,
there's only 2 ways this rotation is going to work. And that kind of smoke, maybe they go bottom, try and catch Skylark, but they've already known. Like, they've got the scouting heroes set in position to be able to intercept that smoke if they did get close. So they knew if nobody's popping that smoke in the bottom lane, that's got to be top. And they avoid it entirely, take the tier 2 at bottom lane. There is still that mid tower, and you could see Spartan wants to make a play for it now.
Let's see if they can get a flank play here. Treant is trying to move up on the left. This is actually... Mouse have a really good grip on the Radiant jungle, excuse me. Again, these aggressive wards are doing so much work. There is 1 defensive ward in the Radiant jungle, so they have a bit of information and know that Mouse are going for this, but I don't know if IG feel like they're set up to take this fight. Juggernaut is not in position just yet. He can TP in, but then he'll only have 1 spell. Actually, he has a 1. He has enough mana. Mouse are already in a great position.
XXS Kind of setting up, but maybe next time has all the kind of vision to be able to see this. He's spotted by the counter ward. They're going to try and blow him up real quickly. Nice skewer backwards from XXS. Not able to get off that overgrowth, so the Treant Protector will not be able to save himself, but Mouse do manage to take that tier 1 tower mid.
They lost the courier in the process, though. Baboka went in and sniped that in mid, so fair trade-off for IG, I guess you could say. Actually, Mouse want to fight this 4 and 5.
They want to get some Bloodstone charges onto the Timbersaw, and they'll find it too. You can see Mouse still maintaining a good spread of all their heroes, though, under the threat of XXS's potential RP with an SF ready to go with that AoE damage.
They knew Burning had to TP in to join that fight and outnumber them, and they see him pushing their top tower, so they're just trying to get whatever advantage they can out of it. Do get that kill on Q.
Now the next objective has got to be Roshan, right? For Mouse. Tier 2s are going to be a little bit difficult to continue to push down, and they've created a lot of map control by taking away all those outer towers.
It's going to be really interesting to see what direction they go in terms of itemization. I feel like some heroes right now are fairly obvious, like TA will go Blink into Deso, and then probably we'll see maybe a BKB here, could be a good choice, or perhaps, I
think
like
BKB is
like the obvious choice. Etirann, however, has gone phase boots, and he's going into Medallion. I like seeing this. It's creative. I don't think we've seen too much phase on Tree. Maybe I'm wrong, but most players generally will go for the Arcane boots, or maybe not even upgrading the boots at all and going for a Midas. But when he's going for this Medallion build, he has the great mobility to get in and get a good overgrowth off, and of course the Nature Skies. And compared to the past, Etirann actually doesn't need as much mana. He can get the Mana Regen talent on level 10, and he has the Mana Regen of Medallion, so
you can use phase boots to still stay invis, right? So you can actually, this kind of increases your range, right? Of being able to run away from a tree and bop someone on the head and get that stun. We've seen the way they use blink daggers that way, right?
Currently, when he activates phase boots, he has 500, I think it was 504 move speed, and that's with level 2 Nature's Guy. So once that reaches level 4, he's actually hasted when he uses the phase boots. So makes it very, very easy to get that clop off. And of course, being able to constantly move and reposition yourself with Etirann is incredible when you have a 2.2 second stun on a 3-second cooldown. It's pretty absurd. Spartan will actually get a really, really quick level 10 here on the Disruptor. Very impressive. He's going to go for the cast range over GPM. We see various choices in this regard.
This kind of backs up the idea that Mouse are bringing to this, right? Very mid-game focus. Not really a whole lot of outs when it comes to late game. We haven't seen a kind of Midas picked up by them yet. So this is very much an all-in play for the mid-game, and IG, this is probably going to be one of their toughest weathering points, right? They've just got to weather through this tough mid-game. That Mouse Sports is going to be much stronger than them.
Now, IG have to give up ground here. They kind of figured out that Mouse Sports are smoked, but they're not sure where they are. And as a result, they are backing off from the smoke, and Mouse just take Roche. Very nice, very quick play.
Yeah,
IG are in no position to contest this.
Early Deso and that Medallion, they make pretty short work of that Roche.
This is such a Mouse Sports classic, playing Thug on the TA, and they have Scarlock on Beastmaster.
Oh, but the RP comes in! They manage to catch 3, pull 2 back, and that's going to be laid waste as AoE damage comes in from IG. They got Skylark and Spartan's Disruptor. They didn't get either one of the real value kills in the Timbersaw or the Templar Assassin, but still, a big play by IG.
XXS on Magnus has had a couple of misplays in this tournament where he gets a really good RP but doesn't get the full skewer. He mistiming it a slight bit, and because of that doesn't get Madara in the skewer. He got him in the RP. The RP was fantastic, and that would have been a triple kill if he managed to bring in Madara. I don't see any way out for him. So like you said, no cores die for Mouse. Well, Beastmaster, but not one
the lesser
of the two big
right?
cores.
Yeah.
So they can consider themselves lucky for that. But IG are definitely not. They're not sitting back and waiting for Mouse to push with this Aegis. They're trying to take whatever advantages they can find, and that was a big one.
Used a couple ultimates there, so I wouldn't be surprised. Mouse still have the Aegis. It's time to take the rest of those tier 2s, right?
It's time to, at the very least, get one while RP is on cooldown. I think IG won't even bother trying to defend this top tier 2. It seems very unlikely that they will get a favorable fight. So more than likely they have this read, okay, Timber and TA are already showing top. Get as much push out on bottom as you can with Juggernaut. Shadowfiend will push in mid, and we're going to lose this time.
Bobica, he's been standing in this area. He knew, hey, they're all pushing top lane. That courier's going to be funneling back and forth. If I just wait out here, eventually a courier is going to head out to them, and sure enough, he finds it.
Mouse could go high ground. They have Necrobook, Aegis, no RP. This is very bold, but at the same time, for the next short amount of time, they definitely have a fighting advantage here, even under tower. But they need to be very careful not to overextend. And IG are set up. Burning used his Manta bottom and then TP top. And he actually already has the diffuser as well. So that's another instant removal of the living armor. A good way to put a lot of pressure on Timbersaw as well.
Even the supports can't even rely on, say, a Ghost Scepter be able to protect themselves from that Omni Slash. So maybe next time, and Spartan are going to have to keep a little bit of awareness of that. You can see this Bounty Hunter really hasn't managed to be super successful for them, just simply because Mouse have been in such good control of the game. They haven't really racked up those big bounty kills, and that's going to be hard, right? The Bounty Hunter is very much a hit or miss hero in that regard. If you don't get the track gold flowing, then Bounty Hunter essentially comes into the mid game as a crappy support.
I would say overall in this game, though, like the track hasn't been too big of a play, but he's got 2 couriers.
That's true. That's true.
If you're a Bounty Hunter, there's like there's 3 things you want to happen in the game. You want to get kills in the laning stage if possible. You want to kill couriers, and you want to get track. That's it. And I feel like he actually accomplished 2 of those. The track we haven't really seen play that big of a role, but every courier kill is actually more valuable than a track kill on a core, almost. At least on a support, just because Bounty himself gets a lot of experience from these 2 courier kills. He's level 9, soon to be 10. Got a full medallion going in toward a crest, similar to what we're seeing from the Treant, I would imagine. He actually bought a gem, so Mao's looking for that map control play.
Bobica getting spotted there, I think, for a moment.
Yep, he could be in trouble. Oh, they could have popped the Necro Book there with Skylark, and that would have been a kill, but... Oh, did they see him there? No, they did not. So he got a really good ward out here for this mid push that I'm imagining IG will look for later, or this is a courier snipe ward. Once again, wanted to get a 3rd kill on a courier. Very even game now, though, and Mao's seem slightly... They seem a bit pressured here. I would like them to try to get this mid tower while they still have the Aegis. Not too much time left on it, though, only about a minute. And they are worried about IG looking for them right now. But IG are just farming.
Yeah, IG sitting back. I mean, that's the thing, right, is that we know Mouse Sports are going to have a good mid-game, but late game is a pretty clear advantage for IG, right? They've got Magnus plus 2 really good scaling cores as well. Meanwhile, you've got Mouse Sports who mostly look at mid-game, right? Templar Assassin, Beastmaster, very mid-game focused heroes. So IG, even if the net worth is maybe a bit advantage of Mouse and they have better control, it's more of just a timer game for IG.
Something that's really significant when you look at TA late game is that when I think of TA, I always look at refraction. I think it's the key way you should think of the hero is that, can we break refraction? Yeah, well, mainly, can we break refraction?